Hello, and thank you for watching the 2014 McMaster Humanities Society Presidential Debate. My name is Robert Smith, and I'm the fourth-year representative of the MHS. I will be moderating this afternoon's debate between our three candidates for President and CEO of MHS. They are Andrew Foe,
Hi.
Hans Loewig, and Veronica Peters. In this debate, each candidate will be permitted 1 minute for their opening remarks and 2 minutes for closing remarks. The candidates may choose to take their full time in each period or less. However, I will give them a warning when their time is finished, and they will have 15 seconds to conclude their remarks. In between, there will be 5 rounds of questions. These questions are based on their approach to leadership, vision for the society, and upon their platform points. In each round, each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to the question, followed by 5 minutes of open debate. The candidates have been briefed on this format and the topics, but they have not been told the questions. We will begin in alphabetical order, rotating through the candidates in each round. So, going to the opening statements, I'd like to go to Andrew Foe.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, so my name is Andrew Foe, and my platform is one where I want to get as much student involvement in the society as possible. Over my past couple of years here, I've seen poor turnouts at General Assemblies. I've seen people in elected positions gain those elected positions just because no one was running against them. And what I would like to do is change that. I would like to make McMaster Humanities Society something that each humanities student wants to be a part of and wants to actively become involved with. Thank you.
Hans?
Okay, so first off, I would like to thank the MHS for hosting this. Rob, thank you for moderating. And thank you to these lovely candidates for showing up. It's actually, I think, the first time in, 3 years since we've had, or something like that, since we've actually had an election. So that's very good. I'm looking forward to hearing what the other candidates have to offer. And I guess two things with my platform that I will be touching on a lot is emphasis on, as Fo said, building community, as well as reorganization of the executive team.
And Veronica.
Okay. Hi, my name is Veronica Peters. I'm running to be your MHS president. My platform is pretty much based on the activity within the community. I'm trying to get more humanities students out to events with the MHS, as well as feel pride within their faculty. I'm very happy to be here.
All right, then, we'll begin by going through the question rounds. The first question is, as with almost all representative organizations, they can sometimes feel exclusive to people not in the executive. How do you plan to involve humanities students in the society? First, I'd like to go to Hans.
Okay, well, first off, in the hiring process, I would like to see more impartiality, meaning, not that I've seen this in the past, but I wouldn't want to see favoritism. For example, someone hiring a friend, somebody hiring a relative, something of the sort. Logistically, it's not that difficult. We can appoint a hiring committee for ad hoc purposes. We can appoint people that we don't know the people that they will be interviewing. We see res reps do this already, and if you see how they operate, it's fantastic.
All right, I'd like to move on to Veronica now.
I think that as a participant in this election coming in, I had the experience of knowing what it might feel to be a little bit inclusive within the MHS. I feel as if once you are a part of the MHS, it becomes a lot more oriented towards each other, and I think that that's a really good thing. However, I can definitely feel like the exclusivity, say like for first years, they might not feel comfortable coming out to general meetings and getting involved. How I would like to fix this, I would like to have open house meetings, just an opportunity for first year students as well as any other students in humanities to come out and see what the MHS is all about. I think that the information nights would be good for both the committee as well as the students to just get more involved and know what the MHS is up to.
Thank you. And lastly, we'll move on to Andrew Foe.
I mostly agree with the points my opponents have made. The one I would like to add, sorry, bear with me, I got a bit of a cold this week, is that I find a lot of the times when we see people at events, it's always the same group. And I think that's because of the way information travels throughout the society. I think a good way to make things more inclusive is to have a better way to contact a wider audience of students. The way it works now is we rely a lot on either word of mouth or Facebook posts or people in the MHS forcing their friends, like, come on, come to the event type thing. I want the information to be actually there so that students can feel like they are part of this larger community.
All right, thank you. We're now going to move to a 5-minute open debate session. In the session, you may issue or you may say any criticisms that you may have on your opponent's platforms, or you may use this time to act constructively. This is pretty much free reign for you all. Hans?
So does this pertain solely to the topic of inclusivity? Or?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And
If you'd like to go, then by all means. But if you have nothing, then we can move on to the next round of questions.
Okay. Well, I guess my first general question, and again, I do agree. We should be working very hard in terms of outreach to students. But I'm just curious in knowing what my candidates what they would plan to implement logistically to reach students. It's not an easy process. I've been involved for 2 years trying to do this. The past year of being a second-year rep, working with a fantastic MHS team, we've seen some progress, but it wasn't easy, and it does take time. So I would just like to see what my candidates would have to offer for that.
Okay, Hans, so I'll take that from there. I believe that different social medias really do reach out to definitely like many students. However, I think just firsthand going into places where humanities students are, even reaching into their classrooms, possibly going into the student center and advocating for what our events are, or like our open general meetings, will garner much debate, much participation in them. So perhaps branching through there.
My idea as to attempting to reach a wider audience is to have a central place for there actually to be updates and news on this society. We do have a website right now, however, it's not updated that much, and if you were to look there for information as something's being planned, you couldn't really find any. As such, I would like, if I get presidency, sorry, I'm stuck on words, I would like to make it so that there is some central way for humanities students to get information on these events, whether that be a newsletter, more active Facebook and Twitter, with increased postings and other things to keep them interested. Make our social media something that's actually checkable.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Veronica, Fo, you guys make those are fantastic points, and I believe that. We should be. It seems as though you're advocating for more direct outreach to students, and you are advocating for more centralization, and they can work together. They're not mutually exclusive or anything. I think there's a hidden component to all of this. How much time do we have? Just so I know.
We have 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes, and it's if we have a very efficiently operating executive team, I believe that we can really do a good job with outreach. And what I mean by that is appointing, if I were to be elected, I would advocate to appoint a promotions committee. Now, the promotions committee would, of course, comprise the promotions coordinator, the social media coordinator, and then the webmaster and a bunch of other year reps. And they would act as a focus group. They would see what works, what doesn't. They would have individual projects, but in the end, it would be a centralized thing. And I think doing that, it would be a more every organization, from my experience, does something of the sort where they have bylaws that bind them, and they work together in smaller groups to achieve specific projects. I think if we start implementing that more, our outreach can increase, possibly tenfold.
Now, Hans, the elected positions that you think we need, the promotions committee, would these be paid positions?
No.
No? Non-paid positions?
No.
And how many people do you think that you'd need on your promotions committee?
Well, I think that number varies. It really depends on what we have. Like it's a practical issue more so. It's not more. I'm speaking more so in principle, whereas that's a practical thing. I'd assume at this point, so we'd have the webmaster, promotions coordinator, the social media coordinator, and I'd say about 4 year reps. Okay.
Continue.
Oh, I thought you
we
were
have 1
done.
minute left.
Okay. Yeah, and I think 4 year reps at this point in time. But I'm waiting to see what the new executive body, if I were to become president, would have to say about that. I mean, I'm not going to impose this on everyone.
Are there any further points from the candidates?
I think that if you delegated those positions to already existing members, I think that you'd better manage your committee of the MHS.
Well, that would be the idea, right? So the promotions coordinator would act as the manager for the promotions committee, right? And the members of that committee would report to the promotions coordinator, and the promotions coordinator would report to the general group. Thanks for that clarification.
All right, now we'll move on to the second round of questions regarding academics. Academic assistance is one of the newest initiatives of the MHS, which aims to help students in humanities with their studies and develop academically through peer mentorship. How do you plan to guide your director of academics and fulfill the academic growth responsibilities of the society? I'd like to begin with Veronica.
Okay, so first off, for my campaign, I would initiate and implement mentorship. So within the alumni or like older students, possibly they can help the younger students, first years, second years, to attain their goals within their academics. Further to that, I'm thinking that we should probably like have some sort of communication between our profs. So I'm thinking maybe like open nights for the humanities where we can invite our profs out, just a meet and greet so that we can really understand and get on the same terms.
Thank you, Veronica. Andrew?
Okay, so one of the things I would like to do, it's kind of on the same wavelength as Veronica's idea of the Professor's Night. Now, I was going to say this for clubs, but it does also tie into here. One of the things that I've noticed a lot of different societies do, such as the McMaster Undergraduate History Society and Philosophy Societies, they have professor pub nights. What I would like to do is I would like to make sure that when those societies have that we help them spread the word about it. That way it reaches the students more, allows them to engage with their professors. One thing I would also like to do is give students more information on the HTLC. Now, I know that we have no power over that, but we are associated with it, and I do think it's a good avenue for students to learn about future careers. The problem is, though, I find a lot of people don't know when the events are happening or where or how it would pertain to them. So what I would like to do is I would like to make information more available about the HTLC. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Moving on to Hans.
Okay, so adding on to Veronica's point there on, I do like the idea of implementing a mentorship program. We already do have one in place, the academic assistance program. I would like to see that grow. Right now we're in the developing stages, but I do see it reaching some success, especially if we, as I said in the previous round, improving the core exec team so that we have a committee specifically looking at that initiative. That would be something good. On to Andrew's point with working with various clubs in terms of outreach to students. That would be a fantastic idea, and I think that we should work, again, in committees to do that. So that would be something that would be appointed to the External Affairs Committee, which would be commissioned by the club's coordinator.
All right, thank you. Now I'll move to the open part of the debate for this question. Who would like to start can go.
Okay, so I definitely agree that all of these ideas are feasible. I think that we should definitely place a priority on the ones that can impact the students directly. So possibly the outreach to the students, the academic assistance that we currently do have. We can easily better that before implementing a new program to help the students. I think that that's our first step. Anyone else?
Just for, I guess, a point of clarification, So you would want to improve the academic assistance program and then move on to another program, mentorship program, or would you want to solely improve the academic assistance program?
I think it's definitely just like one step at a time. So I would improve the current mentorship program that we have, the academic assistance, either by bettering the hours, perhaps like placing more people into it to help the students, and then I would choose to place like a different like priority on, say, promoting like the HTLC, but I would definitely want to take it one step at a time.
Okay, so just so that I understand what's going on here, so you'd only want to focus on one mentorship program, not two, because the HTLC is the Humanities Target Learning Center. It's experiential education. It's not necessarily a mentorship program. That's more of a networking career workshop program. Mm-hmm. So these are two separate things that we should work not separately. I think we should work, we should have multiple projects delegated to the Academics and Affairs Committee. That's the name I've given it so far, but that would be the committee dealing with that. I wouldn't see it as working on one thing and then working on the next. I just think we should delegate that one person on one initiative and then delegate another person on another initiative. As for the improving the academic assistance program, I think it comes down to internal organization in the executive, not necessarily improving hours. Because hours, the issue with hours is that different executive members have different class schedules. It's more so. It comes down to the administrative board, how the administrative board operates and how organized they are. If we can really work around these executive members' hours and stuff like that and actually have something coherent throughout the week, then I think that would be a good launching pad for this academic assistance program.
I like the idea of the academic assisting program. I just know one obstacle we're going to have to overcome is what incentive are we going to have that are actually going to get, the helpers in? Like, I know the academic assistance program is good, but one of the things is going to be actually having people there to assist. I'm wondering, do you guys have any ideas on how to get that in? Because I don't want to say we're basically running free tutoring sessions, but we are running aid and academic assistance, right? Which it is something that people do usually. How would we get volunteers?
We currently do have volunteers, and I think we should have an academic assistance program. I think as the Society for this faculty, I think we have a responsibility to assist the students. And the only issue I see with it so far is just the organization. If we can get the organization down pat, I think this program can be very effective for students.
Just to go off the organization, I think that I should probably clarify what I said previously. What I meant when I said hours, I meant hours that were flexible for the students instead of just like a 9 to 5 assistance where it's drop-in. I think that if you improve the flexible hours as well as the quality of the mentors that are assisting, I think that can really help the students. Going upon that, I think that it is important to have organization within the academics as well as just the MHS in itself. I think that by taking it one step at a time, and this is where we differ, I feel like if we take one project at a time, we'll be able to use many hands, which will make light work, and we'll be able to move on to our projects faster rather than having multiple going at the same time.
My only issue with that is that these are ongoing projects, right? They're going to require management, not just, not when you don't launch it and then it just falls into place. You don't let the chips fall where they may. It's more so something, it requires multi-management, right? So we have different programs happening right now. We have the HTLC happening. We do work with them to some degree. We work with clubs to some degree. I mean, we can't just do one at a time. We have to delegate this to different people among the executive team and then work together. Otherwise, I don't see how we would move forward as an organization.
All right, and this concludes our second round of debate. We'll move on to our third question now regarding clubs. As they are, humanities clubs are generally loosely associated with the MHS. Do you plan to make any changes regarding clubs that fall under the McMaster Humanities Society? I'd like to begin with Andrew.
So one of the first things I would like to do in regards to clubs is make the information about applying for club sponsorship more available. I myself looked on the MHS website and tried to figure out what I could about A, what clubs we sponsor, and B, how someone looking to apply would know about it. Also, I know some people don't actually know that we do provide club funding. So one of the things I would really like to do is to get the knowledge somewhere accessible on how to apply, where to apply to, and the process. The other thing I'd like to do with clubs is I would like to institute, I don't know the full process of it, it's definitely going to be trial and error, but some form of newsletter to which the clubs could all write in, tell us about the events they're having. That would not only give everyone a central space to look up clubs, get an idea of what they're doing, but it would also give more advertisement, more relevance to the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Next, we'll be moving on to Hans.
Okay. Well, Andrew, again, I love your points because I think they fall exactly within the two main pillars of my platform, which one, again, as I've said before, entails organization of the executive and making it more efficient, and the other being outreach to students and to clubs. Now, again, as I said with the committees, as I said about the academics committee, promotions committee, we'd also have an external affairs committee, and that would be commissioned by the clubs coordinator, and the clubs coordinator would be responsible in communicating with not only clubs in the faculty, but also external groups like the SRA. Now this is sort of off topic, so I won't get too far into it, but SRA, different faculty societies. And I think, again, if we have an organized body an organized core, I think it'll be a lot easier to communicate with clubs and then communicate with students as well.
Thank you, Hans. Veronica?
Okay, so I would like to first say, I definitely agree with Andrew and Hans' points. I love the idea of the newsletter for the clubs. Something that I'd just like to maybe start is possibly contests for funding, maybe just contests for raising an idea of a club within the MHS, because I think that it is very good for students. I think that students thrive off of clubs. Personally, being involved in a few of the MHS clubs that we sponsor, I think that it's very valuable to a student, and possibly if they're not fully participant within the MHS, at least they have the value of the clubs. Personally, I don't see it being malleable to just create a bunch of these clubs and then go without it and just leave it. I think that there should be some organization between them, possibly a Twitter.
All right, thank you. We'll now move to the open part of this debate.
Okay, so one of the things that I heard happen either this past year or the year before, I can't remember, was that the club's coordinator held a club's pub night. And I would really like to see that get instituted. But in my mind, I would like to see it get instituted once a semester and have it as kind of our humanity's own spin on Clubs Fest. If we could have Clubs Pub Night and have it as a way for students to interact with the clubs in a more kind of social setting, more relaxed, and to learn about everything that they offer, I think that would definitely increase interest for the clubs as well as get students more involved.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I like I also, Andrew, I like how you put forth the idea that it should be a consistent thing, right? So
yeah.
It should be, once a semester, so that we're continually reaching out to the students on this. And I like the idea of it being at a pub personally, just because it is a good setting to meet new people and talk about what you have to offer. So
I was just going off the society's pub nights idea. I just find it's.
No, I definitely agree with that. I think that maybe for the first years, I know me being in first year, being underage, maybe put it in some other setting, or maybe just at their own personal club space, something like that, where they can get involved as well.
Logistically, if we're having it at a pub, I do know that we can work around that, so we can have first years and underage people in the pub. We did that during Frosttoberfest, the previous event, and it was fine. I mean, that's I think a practical thing.
Yeah.
But for sure, other locations definitely.
Yeah, I would say 1280 over Phoenix, just because there is that kind of side area that's more lounge, but you also have the pub field.
We're also students.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right, this concludes our round on clubs. We'll now be moving on to question round 4 regarding discipline. Disciplinary issues are often a problem during Welcome Week, and as a result, we maintain a red list. This is of representatives that are further or barred from being a rep in the future. As the president, you are in charge of the overall image of the society, and you may be presented with a situation in which you may need to suspend a Welcome Week representative. How would you address this situation? I'd like to begin with Hans.
Okay, so multiple things. Fo, I believe you've been through this. I definitely have been through this. Seeing people not show up, seeing people promising something but not actually doing it, and to be quite frank, I'm sick and tired of it, right? And I think the first thing we should do, right now, is when we appoint the elections committee, is that, again, we should be impartial with how we choose who becomes a Welcome Week representative, not, oh, hey, you're my friend, oh, cool, all right, you're on, right? So I would like it to be something very impartial. Now, just to clarify, how much time do I have?
You have 23 seconds.
Damn, okay, I'll try. Implement different groups. We did this during our last, if you were a Hummer, you would remember this, you were put into a Welcome Week group, and it was like a group of 10 people, and you guys would do specific jobs, and you guys would compete with now I would want you guys to compete with each other for something. I'll come back to that.
All right, we'll now be moving on to Veronica.
Okay. So just for disciplinary action, I think that it is very important to make sure that the right people are leading the Frosh Week events, anything that's advocating for the MHS. I think it's very important to have responsible people and just people that are passionate about the humanities and about making the right choices when they are in the leadership positions. How I would probably have action towards these people. I would have to understand the decision that they made, the action that they did before going further from that, because everyone obviously has their own story, so I definitely want to hear theirs before. And just not jump to conclusions. I would hope the best for everyone, but yeah, I would hope that no one would want to do that.
All right, thank you, Andrew.
Okay, so this is actually something I've had to deal with before, being a rep. What I found the most useful thing to do is in these situations is to go up to the party, talk to them about what they've done, continue on. It's a matter of being respectful to them as they are to you. One of the things that I have noticed that the society did this year was they, correct me if I'm wrong, created I remember in my head as the chief enforcer, but someone who's the opposite to the spirit leader, who can actually pay attention, go around, and start enforcing rules. That, I think, is a great idea. It keeps control centralized and gives the MHS a better rein-in on reps. Another thing I'd like to see that implemented, that I believe science it is that implements it, that is at the end of the day, every rep's lanyard gets taken and they only get it back if they show up the next morning. I think that would be a good way to actually guarantee we have reps who show up consistently. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'd like to move to the open discussion part of this question.
Okay.
Adding on to that, and that's a fantastic idea that is actually news to me, that I would love to actually see implemented, leaving your rep suit, lanyard, or your lanyard, yeah. Lanyard. I think that's a fantastic idea, and it was originally called the Welcome Week Disciplinary Officer. It might be called Chief in the future.
Sorry, that's just how I
in
my head.
But yeah, no, that's a fantastic initiative that the MHS has put forward. It's kind of like a good cop, bad cop thing when it comes with the spirit leader. It's like the complementary person with that. So that's cool. I like that. And just adding on to what I was saying before, if you were a rep in the previous Welcome Week, as I said, you were put into a group of about 10 people, and you guys performed a specific task. I just think that the Welcome Week Disciplinary Officer, or possibly known as Chief, will be assessing how you do, and these groups will be assessed as a group, and the group that performs the best, I think, should be rewarded with something. So to incentivize is what I'm pretty much saying, individuals to work as hard as they can so that we can have an awesome welcome week.
I think one of the really good benefits to having the chief enforcer is what I'm going to refer to it now for the record. Having the chief enforcer position is that it kind of also keeps everyone in check. That's including the reps as including the MHS. I know last year we had problems with communicating between the MHS and the reps, and it led to a lot of confusion, a lot of hurt feelings, and a lot of back and forth between people that was unnecessary if communication channels could be opened. I think keeping communication between the reps and the fact that we actually have a red list, this year, is one way that we can keep problems from not reoccurring and from having them not even start.
I'd like to give Veronica a chance to get in on this.
I think no one likes to deal with consequences or the negatives of anything, especially during something like Frosh Week. But I definitely think implementing a chief or a disciplinary officer to just go around and make sure that everyone is keeping the responsibilities that they said that they would. I think that that's very important.
All right, thank you. This concludes our fourth round of debate. For the fifth and final rounds, regards some events. So, on a lighter topic, and that's event planning, which, if any, events do you have planned should you be elected? I'd like to start with Veronica.
Oh, this is good. Okay, so for a few of the things that I would like to start, just with events, I was thinking a Hummer Games. So it's kind of taking from the Hunger Games, where if you're not familiar with it, there's certain districts. The districts would be split up into the different humanities programs that we have. There'd be a district for history, a district for communications, maybe one for French and minors and things like that. And they would all compete against each other. I think that it's a really original way to get humanities students involved, and also something where it takes from our modern culture. I think I'm very excited about that. And yeah, that's one way that I would definitely start implementing that.
All right, thank you. Andrew?
Okay, one of the things I would really like to implement with events is charity events. Now, I'm kind of taking this off of the examples of other faculties. I know the engineers participate every year, and I believe it's a Santa Claus parade with a bus pull for charity. And I would like to see humanities getting in on something like that. Not the same as what other faculties have done, but put our own spin on it. I think this will not also will raise money for good causes, but also get the humanities out making a positive contribution to the community. My actual plan is I'd like to have consistent events throughout the year. I know we have 4 really major ones: Wine and Cheese, Frosttoberfest, Welcome Week, and Formal, all of which I've seen nicely attended over the past years, and I'd like to see them continue. That's it for now.
All right, thank you. And Hans?
Okay, so I guess moving on from what you were saying, yeah, more events, more charity events. I absolutely agree. I don't think the event planning should rest on me. I think it should rest on the students in terms of what they want. I'd rather not impose something on the students that they might not show up. That was when I proposed the idea of Frosttoberfest. That was not my original idea. That was something that was advised to me by my friends who were in humanities. And I think that if we appeal more to humanities students and work with what they want, we'll have a better turnout. So, and again, it all falls down on having an organized executive body and good outreach. Reach out, ask them what they want, and we can deliver what they need.
All right, thank you, Hans. There will be no open debate after this session due to time constraints, so we will be moving on to the closing remarks. All right, and this concludes our question rounds. We'll now be moving on to the closing remarks. We'd like to start with Hans.
Okay, well, once again, I would just like to thank the McMaster Humanities Society for having me, Veronica, and Andrew Foe, I have to say your full name, do this. I think this is a fantastic thing, and I haven't seen this implemented. I mean, as I said, this is the first election like this that I've seen at the school, so this is fantastic. And again, if anything, please just vote. One of us will be your next president. And I mean, I've had 2 years of experience, almost 2 years of experience on the McMaster Humanities Society, and I believe I have a lot to offer. That's that.
All right, thank you. Next, moving on to Andrew.
Okay. Again, thank you, as Hans said, for having us here. This is the first time in my time here, having 3 people in the election, second time actually having an election. I would like to just say, make sure that you do vote on the 10th, whether it's for me or one of the other candidates. Just please vote. We really want to have your input. I haven't been on the MHS before, but I'm willing to learn everything that I need to do this job. I would really like to just help serve you in the humanities as best I can. I really look forward to seeing a big turnout for the vote, and thank you.
I would also like to thank the MHS committee for having us here. It's very exciting to be a part of. I think that my campaign stands for pride, progress, participation, although if one of my other candidates does win, I know that they'll do a great job. So I think that's that. Just remember to vote on February 10th, 8:30 to 5:30. Do not miss the deadline. Thank you.
All right, thank you. This concludes our debate for today. I'd like to thank you all for watching our debate online, and for all the candidates for participating in our event. Candidates, good luck.